tutorial, I'm going to go over some strategies you can do to do your research well, ethically, and to integrate sources into your writing. And it's going to probably be in two parts because there's a lot to cover. Um, so let's get started. So the first thing I do is I actually take the prompt of my paper and I create sort of a research document to track my research. And I plug the prompt into this document here, right? And then I select, I specify exactly what I'm going to research. And actually, for this one, I'm going to change from retail to restaurant because I was able to find more about that was useful. Okay. So, as I was doing some research and checking sources, I actually used ChatGPT to help me with this. And the first source I did, the first prompt, it gave me this compensation trends in the retail industry, right? This article here. And then as I went through, it gave me some summaries of major findings, and each one was linked. Now, I applied the CRAP test to each of these, and what I found is this active track is not a very good source because it's trying to sell me software that I can use as a business. Time is a little better, um, but I'm not quite sure if that's going to be useful. And it does talk about retail, and now I've moved on to restaurants. And then I found this article on berkeley.edu. And this article actually led me to some other articles because see it's just an abstract. And abstracts you cannot cite abstracts. So that's one option. And then I found another one. I'm trying to find where it is on here linked. I think there's one from Harvard that I saw. But let's look at this routers one. Yeah, it was the routers one, which is another news source, right? And it gives some data about Best Buy salary increases, right? So some of these sources are really quite good, and some of them really aren't quite good. And then this goes over, California and all that sort of thing. And there's not a lot of time to go super in depth. But anyway, one of the sources I found, this one, I believe was maybe, let me shrink this down so I can see it under here. That's part of the problem. Yes, this Harvard Business Review. The authors gave me a bunch of sources. So I downloaded this paper, right? I hit read now. I downloaded the paper. It brought up the link for me, which is right here. And then I notice, oh, crud, this is 44 pages long. That's much too much for me to read right now with the time constraints I had. So I put that link into ChatGPT and I asked it to give me three key data points that I could use because what you want to use in your paper for your examples is data. So we have this quote here from the article, and this is from page 1 in the abstract section. I'm not going to use that. Abstracts are bad. But what I can use here is maybe uh, this third one. Across the sample, each $1 wage increase reduced the city level restaurant entry rate by 4 to 6%. And it gives a table here too. And look, I have the link to the article here as well. So what I am going to use, this would be considered a paraphrase, is I'm going to take that data point, I'm going to plug it into my research here. I'm going to take out the bold, right? I'm going to take out the link because MLA does not allow for links. But then I am going to look up how to cite this source properly. So how am I going to do that? Well, there is a great website, but you can also use ChatGPT to do so. I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do that. I'm going to say, can you create a MLA works cited entry for this source? Boom. And see, there I have it. It gives me a good works cited entry for the source. Now I can check it against MLA standards, but for now, just for illustrative purposes, I'm going to go ahead and plug that in here. I'm going to put this quote here. It gives me the page number. Now, MLA does not use the word page for citations. So I'm going to go over here. Can you give me a parenthetical citation for the following quote from the source? Right. I have to go back up and redo that quote. So what I'm doing is using the AI to help me make sense of something that I don't necessarily like feel confident enough in my own reading to use yet. So let's see what it gives me. There you go. So, and it would look like this. So I am going to include this citation right here in my little citation chart. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, because I know that my teacher is going to be very, very like honed in on making sure I'm not plagiarizing, I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and I'm going to ask, can you break out the table on table 8 from the article and provide it for me in a cut and paste or JPEG format for inclusion in my paper. And it's all about the prompts that you write here. So say it gives me the table, right? And again, like it says down here, it can make mistakes, but for the most part, you can use this in your generating for your paper. So I'm going to plug that table in there, and it's called Table 8, just in case I need to use it, right? And then I am going to see how that's kind of strange there. So we may have to do some formatting, but I am going to also go back to ChatGPT. Please provide in text citation for the table. There we go. We have that in-text citation there as well to help us. Okay, so now we have all the information we need to cite it properly. Now it's our job to actually look at this and think about how we integrate it into our paper, and I'll do that